Never felt that before. Ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary members of the community, good evening and welcome to Carbide 6 on Twitch, YouTube, and also Facebook Gaming. Hope everybody's doing well tonight. And of course, tonight's stream has been brought to you by my good friends at the House of Anaconda and the HOA Fights Network. Check them out at their website, hoasnake.com, and also on Twitter at HOA Fights and also House of Anaconda. All right, now, like I said, if you're following on Twitter and if you know me on Discord, got a few things to talk about. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Hey, everybody. Okay. Yeah, tonight, just gonna be talking with you guys, and plus you get to see me. And, definitely join in on the conversation as well if you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Gaming, because here we go. Now, one of the games that I play occasionally is Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And as of late, for the last few months, Ubisoft has had its own campaign to have NFTs integrated into the game. Yeah. Now, for those that may be following along with Ubisoft's antics, of course, it goes without saying that nobody wanted this. Yeah. And this is on top of how people, the Ghost Recon community, did not want the game to have an entry into the Battle Royale genre. And of course, Ubisoft said, okay, well, we hear you. We understand you. But here is Ghost Recon Frontline, a Battle Royale. No. No. And of course, the YouTube trailer that announced this has thousands of downvotes, thousands of dislikes, to where finally Ubisoft said, well, okay, we're placing this on hold. And we don't know how long it's going to be on hold, but just got to refocus on some things. Okay, cool. Finally, so Ghost Recon Frontline, a game that nobody wanted, is dead. Yay! But of course, now we have Ubisoft Quartz, NFTs that they're trying to integrate into Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And there's more development news on Ghost Recon Breakpoint that I'll bring up to you in just a moment. Now, with Ghost Recon Breakpoint, one of the NFTs that they tried to promote within the game was getting exclusive helmets, clothing, cloaks, stuff like that. Nothing that would really give a player a tactical advantage, whether in PvP or PvE. By that I mean player versus player or player versus event. It's just something that Ubisoft wanted to promote to the gamer, to the user, saying, now you can own a piece of history of Ghost Recon with this exclusive NFT helmet, with a unique serial number on the helmet that if you zoom in close enough, zoom in like that, you could definitely see the NFT number, and that is yours to keep forever. Of course, some of you may have known how that went. That went down in flames. So, it is now 7 days past to where Ubisoft has announced that it has concluded all of the updates, fixes, and DLC creation for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. So, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, it's pretty much out of commission. Now, I'm kind of mixed on that, yet I kind of expected it to happen. Because I was one of the beta testers for Ghost Recon Breakpoint when they came out. And my friends, whew, and this was back on my old computer, okay, before I got this new one. Ghost Recon Breakpoint, the beta, yikes. So many bugs. One of which they, at least thank goodness, they fixed by the time the game released. But even though it was one mission that we played in there, the bugs and the unpolished nature of the game was just so bad that myself and other beta testers were barely able to finish the game. Well, what was there. And it was just garbage. Now, fast forward to the actual release of Ghost Recon Breakpoint, in which some of the bugs were fixed. Now, also, by this time, of course, I also played Ghost Recon Wildlands. I'm a Ghost Recon guy. I love Ghost Recon. Now, we go into the release of Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Now, here, we were expecting at least a return of a couple of the teammates that we had in Wildlands in some way, shape, or form. Or at least, some type of AI teammates. That didn't happen. What Ubisoft was trying to do was to encourage players to go into co-op and complete missions together, complete raids together. Now, let me start pulling up a couple things here. Oh boy. Okay, now, so Ghost Recon Breakpoint, originally released on October 4, 2019. Yeah. So now this is the this absolutely just breaks my heart having to go through this, but so it was released in 2019. Okay. All right. Now, it was released in 2019. Let me reiterate this again. Okay, this is for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Now, which is, again, of course, the sequel from Ghost Recon Wildlands, where you already had an AI team. Now, to add on more context, the AI in Ghost Recon Wildlands, okay, it was buggy, but you had teammates, you had AI guys that would shoot back at the enemy so you're not completely ambushed. Ghost Recon Breakpoint did not have AI teammates until 2021. Let me say this again. Ghost Recon Breakpoint did not add AI teammates until 2021, 2 years after release. Yeah. And of course, this is already a game to where it was just not looking too good as far as the Ghost Recon Faithful was concerned. Okay. So much so that even to this day, Ghost Recon Wildlands is still getting more play time than Breakpoint. Okay. Now I can't put down Breakpoint completely because I will give Ubisoft props where props is due. Jon Bernthal played the shite out of the enemy there, out of the bad guy. It's a shame that we only get to face him in the first major campaign of the game, but my God, Jon Bernthal, that was a great move by Ubisoft. It's just sad that they didn't utilize him more, because the character that we were introduced to in Wildlands, and then the time and transition from Wildlands to the same man that we faced in Breakpoint, that would have been such a deep dive into a character that we could have done. But sadly, they just didn't do that. We only had him for one campaign, that's it. And we'll take it as it is. Now, of course, going further into the game, we're two years later. 2 years later, in 2021, we finally get the AI teammates, and this is after numerous bug fixes, numerous updates, and now in 2022, 3 years into the game, that's it. Well, really 2.5 years that they've ceased all operations on that. Let's go back a little bit more. Okay. Now, Ghost Recon Wildlands, that came out in 2017. Okay. And still, to this day, because right now, let's see here. Da-da-da. And right now, let's see. Wildlands is still outpacing Breakpoint as far as ratings and sales, things of that nature. So, of course, it wouldn't be Ubisoft really crapped the bed on Breakpoint. They really did. But what I feel was another absolute insult to the Ghost Recon faithful was that in December 2021, Ubisoft added to Ghost Recon Breakpoint support for Ubisoft Quartz, their NFT, non-fungible token service for obtaining in-game items such as weapons, gear, cosmetics, referred to by Ubisoft as digits, using cryptocurrency. And of course, the announcement video, like I said earlier, received overwhelmingly negative reception from the community with a 96% dislike ratio, prompting Ubisoft to unlist it to make it private. And this was so bad, my friends, is that even Ubisoft developers have raised their concerns over this. Because they're wondering, guys, you're cutting into our money here. Why are you doing this? And of course, Ubisoft, along with a few other developers, Konami, Sega, and of all companies in all the world, Atari has tried to get into this. Really, Atari, are you that desperate to try to get into NFTs to get some extra money? So yeah, NFTs, absolutely not. Another, which brings me to a little bit deeper into NFTs now. Because I used to be a crypto investor, but at first when NFTs were coming out, I was thinking, they're not gonna be that big a deal. It's gonna be in and out. Nah. But boy, was I wrong. I was dead wrong about it. So dead wrong that when NFTs were becoming more popular and was starting to affect the crypto market in negative ways, I had to pull out. Me and a couple other investor friends, we had to pull out of the crypto market because it made because those NFTs, in my opinion, made the already volatile crypto market, it made it go Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island. We had to pull out. We had to pull out like it was Vietnam and Afghanistan. Pulled out like it's nice and messy. So I'm like it messy. Anyway, so now I say this with I wouldn't say full conviction, but I do have to leave some room for understanding. I do not like NFTs. NFTs are not for me. Now, if you want to engage in NFTs, I do want to encourage people to learn as much as they can about what they're investing in. Now, this is not financial advice. Okay, I am not a licensed or professional financial advisor. So let's just get that clear. I'm just speaking from my personal experience. NFTs, not for me. Period. Dot. Now, I do want to throw a caveat in here, as I do know a couple people that want to get into NFTs, not just as an investor, but as a content creator. Yes. Instead of being an investor, I know a couple people that want to create content to have their own proprietary NFT to raise funds that way. And now that part was quite interesting to me. So I'll be very much talking with my friends more as to see how they get into it. Of course, there'll be very private conversations, of course, because I don't want to talk all of their business. But who knows? I may be able to bring them onto the big show, and they can discuss their NFT. Okay, and I will very much promise and endeavor to keep an open mind. Okay, even though I stated my opinion on NFTs, but yet at the same time, let's keep the mic open. Okay, see, mics and minds are like parachutes. They work better when they're open. Sometimes. Well, depends on the mic. Because after all, this is the hottest mic on YouTube and Twitch, and also on Facebook tonight. So hello everybody. This is Carbide 6, your player 1, your wing commander. Just getting a few things off my chest tonight. Just got some chill music going. And if you want to join in on the conversation, I'm mainly on Twitch. I got the multi-stream chat up. So hit me up. Let's dive in and talk about this stuff. Now, my chest that if you follow me on my Twitter, which is of course Carbide 6, one of my biggest pet peeves and arch nemesis of social media, gatekeepers. Yes. Now, who gatekeepers are in this context? Gatekeepers are people who are in their own right, passionate fans of whatever genre that they're part of, mostly in sci-fi. Whether if it's Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Star Trek, Farscape, you name it. Okay. Now, these gatekeepers are especially prevalent in Star Wars and Star Trek. And these gatekeepers only consider very few parts of a franchise to be canon, despite other entries entered into the franchise by the original producers, executive producers, things of that nature. And these gatekeepers often really engage in advanced denialism, a denial of a fictional reality, if you will. And they're especially prevalent in Twitter, but they are much worse on Facebook, because at least with Facebook you can type in more stuff, and it's the lengths that some of these gatekeepers would go to explain why they don't consider this episode canon, why they don't consider this series canon, or why they do not like this series or this season. But one common thing that I've found with a lot of these gatekeepers, their chief complaint is that they feel that Star Trek and Star Wars is becoming too woke. Let me say this again. Their chief complaint, the common complaint, is that Star Wars and Star Trek are being too woke. Now, sometimes what I've done as of late is I would respond to them and ask, what is woke to you? Now, sometimes they don't answer, but when they do answer, oh boy, um, let's just say that they're going to have a rude awakening when they find out that they've shown themselves to be on the wrong side of history. Now, let's dive into the Star Trek gatekeepers, because they only believe that everything up until Star Trek Nemesis, from the original series to the end of the Next Generation, a little bit into DS9, and then the Trek movies up until Star Trek Nemesis. Many of these gatekeepers believe that up until that point, all of Trek was canon. Everything after that, no, they completely disregard for whatever reason, which is not really a good reason at all. Now, as far as the newer shows, I love it all. That's just me. I've been a Trek fan growing up, always. Any Trek that came on, boom, I was there, including DS9. Now, what some of these gatekeepers need to realize, that the producers of Trek, especially Gene Roddenberry himself, was some of the most woke people that you could ever come across in the 1960s. Okay, Star Trek has been pissing off conservatives and anti-woke activists since 1966. Okay, Star Trek started when television studios and movie studios were in the last years of being under what was called the Motion Picture Production Code. And the Motion Picture Production Code, yeah, it was pretty bad. It was very much racist, misogynist, bigoted, you name it. It was that bad. Now, take on what I just said about the production code. You can even look it up on Wikipedia, and Wikipedia can provide you more sources as to how stifling the motion picture production code actually was. Okay, then once you take a look at that and see all the rules and regulations that that TV show writers, producers had to operate under, or they couldn't make it to air. Okay. Then by that point, I'm sure a lot more people would start to see how different television was back then compared to now. Okay. Now, one thing that I've seen among conservatives as well, especially on social media, that what they're trying to do is go back to a better past, in which, yeah, let me say it again. They're trying to go back to what they think is a better past. They think that, back in those days, everybody was prosperous, everybody got along, in which all they mostly remember was the shows that were on TV back then, in which one of the items of the motion picture production code was that you would always show a family on the up and up. That would be middle class, upper middle class, 2.3 kids, at least a boy and a girl, or two boys, and you wouldn't see any strife with that family. Everything was good. The father was the head of the household, and whatever father said was law. Now, compare those shows back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, okay? And then the rules they were under, compare that to where we are now. Okay, now, the show Modern Family, Yeah, Modern Family could not be aired in the 60s. People back then would have burned the studio down if Modern Family aired in the 60s. Now, let's slide back into Star Trek here, where it started at. Okay, so hopefully I gave you folks a good idea of how far Star Trek has come with what they were up against. Okay, now you had Star Trek, the original series. Okay, that lasted for, I believe, 3 seasons on NBC. And then a few years later, you had the animated series, which somehow they were able to score the whole cast back, and they were able to do their stuff on the animated platform. Okay, and then you had Star Trek: The Motion Picture, which came a few years after that, and then so on and so forth. Now, at least with the movies, okay, this was when finally the motion picture production code was pretty much non-existent. Everybody did their own thing, in which you could do a little bit more. So you had the motion picture, and then you had Wrath of Khan, and then let's keep going down the road from there. And now, because you also have to remember that these writers, and I've even had to tell this to a few people too, that Star Trek is a reflection of where our society is at the time of production. Okay, now what I mean by that is Star Trek was a scientifically fictional reflection of what was going on in the 1960s. Okay, to a certain extent. Now, one of the main reasons why sometimes 60s sci-fi was so successful was that the censors at that time, they really didn't have time to read into what the show was saying, because they thought sci-fi, it's gonna be all honky-dory spaceships, aliens, pew pew, bang bang. Nah, move on. So yeah, if Star Trek was not a sci-fi show, a lot of the things that they did on there, they wouldn't be able to make it to air. So now that, so of course we got the movies, then we got Next Generation, which was in syndication. Now, being that they were in syndication, they had a little bit less rules that they had to follow, some rules that they didn't have to follow, and some rules that they could bend but they couldn't break. Being that they're in syndication, that means that any station that is airing them, they can at any time say, hey, we're not airing that episode, or we're not airing you guys at all, fuck off. They could do that at any time to any show. So, of course, the Next Generation buzzed the tower many times. And what some of these gatekeepers don't realize is that, again, Trek has been woke since the 60s. And I get where they're coming from sometimes, and especially considering these last 2 years, that whenever they want to watch Trek, they want to recapture that feeling that they had when they were younger, when they were watching Trek. Okay? Some of these gatekeepers, they remember how Trek made them feel instead of how Trek challenged them to be a better version of themselves. Let me say this again. They remembered how the old Trek made them feel rather than how the Trek challenged them to be better than where they were. So that is what we're contending with today as far as fandoms in just Star Trek, Star Wars, and now even Halo the series. Because of course you have, I wouldn't even call them passionate fans, I call them fanboys, Fanboys, because they these kids are like 10 toes down for the Halo that's in the games. Even though the producers of the current Halo show that's on Paramount Plus, they flat out said that they're not following the game canon. They're doing a whole entire new canon, as they're going to do what's called the silver timeline. They're just going to give this a shot. They are going to leave the game canon alone. And still, they are not having it. In which, again, I can understand and empathize, because these last 2 years of the public health thing that's been going on, being shut down and starting to try to get your bearings back, I can understand that they want that nostalgia hit, that they want that comfort shot, that copium shot. Yeah, that's right, I said it. I said copium. They want that dopamine hit. And well, once Halo the series came out, so did a lot of their personal character, because people have been complaining that it's too woke because of the race swapping of certain characters. Well, here's a question I want to pose to them. Okay, you had Ghost in the Shell, and let's see what was another one. Ghost in the Shell, Aeon Flux, and Lucy. All three of those main characters were supposedly Asian, but yet, no, I don't think it was Aeon Flux. Yeah, at least Lucy and I think that may have been Aeon Flux too. Lucy, Aeon Flux, and Ghost in the Shell, the movie, when all three of them were played by Scarlett Johansson. Yes, now those roles were meant for Asian women, because in the original source material, Asian women played them. And of course, the Asian American and Pacific Islander community was not happy with it, and rightfully so. And of course, unfortunately, we have found Scarlett Johansson's beliefs on the wrong side of history, especially when it comes to her politics. Now, let's dive into Star Trek. Okay, Star Trek Into Darkness, where they changed Khan Noonien Singh from a Southeast Asian man to a white man, played by Benedict Cumberbatch. Of course, the original Khan in the original series and The Wrath of Khan was played by the late Ricardo Montalban. And look, sorry to say, Ricardo Montalban, he always knocked it out the park with Khan. And Benedict Cumberbatch, A for effort. A for effort. A for effort, considering the circumstances that he was thrust into. So, but here's the ironic thing, though. Now, there was some pushback as far as that race swap, but not that much. But now let's fast forward into Halo. In Halo, the series, spoiler alert, you have Captain Keyes and, of course, his daughter, Lieutenant Commander Miranda Keyes, as both black and biracial with black and white, respectively. And yeah, the Halo fanboys were livid. Yet, I'm thinking to myself, okay, so they could have a white person play an Asian character in certain movies and anime titles, or anime to movie titles. They could have a white person play that Nobody hardly bats an eye. But God forbid you change characters that were Caucasian in a game to anything other than Caucasian in a live action show, everybody loses their fucking minds. Ordinarily, I would be here for that. I would be here for that energy, but it's gotten to the point where people show their ass. They show their true character. Even after the death of George Floyd, yeah, folks are showing their true character, and I think, just my personal opinion, that they are getting very uncomfortable as they find themselves once again on the wrong side of history. Despite what these gatekeepers want to say, want to maintain the purity of the canon, but they do this when they have no incentive, no reward at the end of the tunnel whatsoever. Because they're not producers of the show, they're not investors in the show, they're not members of Paramount, they're not shareholders of Paramount, they're not shareholders of 343 Studios, they're not shareholders of BioWare, who originally also developed Halo. They're not shareholders of Microsoft. They're just fanboys that are not happy that the live action took off the Master Chief's helmet. Like, really, fellas? Guys, come on. Now, in fact, what a lot of them have ignored, as I mentioned earlier, is that the production team with Halo the series, they openly said they are not using the game canon. They wanted to protect that. They want to keep that separate. But at the same time, this show has been, at least just season 1 itself, okay? Season 1 itself took over 2 years to complete. Of course, filming was very much delayed due to the public health thing. Okay, so starting in 2019, halted in 2020, got back to full steam late 2020, 2021 outside of America because they had to change. They were able to change locations to an area where the virus was under control. Okay, and there we go. So they're not. So if anything, I would tell these gatekeepers to just sit back, relax, and just shut the fuck up and enjoy Halo. Because it was very close to not happening because of the public health thing that's been going on, that we're still in here in the continental United States, including Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and Alaska, and any other territory that has a United States flag on it. Because we refused to do the work before the vaccine came out. And other countries had it beat before the vaccine came out. But we refused to do the work because we didn't want to look ugly in our masks. So yeah. So yeah, you Halo gatekeepers, I'm sure you're pretty much watching mine now. You've been watching my, probably watching my Twitch, trying to see when I go live. So yeah, if you're dropping in, yeah, I'm telling you right now, face to face, shut the fuck up and either enjoy the show or leave. Simple. I mean, there's plenty of other things that you can watch or complain about in Paramount Plus, okay? Let people enjoy things. All right? Bet. Cool. Now, especially for you Star Trek gatekeepers, I got stuff for you. All I need to say to these Star Trek gatekeepers is, really? Are you serious? Come on, guys. Star Trek has been telling some of these same stories for years, but yet you don't like Discovery because, and you know what? I'm going to say it. Most of you don't like Discovery because they don't feature cisgender straight white men in charge. That's right. I said it. Most of you do not like Discovery because of the fact that it is not focused on straight cisgender white men in charge of a cast of who you would consider as supporting characters. But no, they're pretty prominent. You have a black woman that was charged and convicted of mutiny. Okay, made her way back, earned her way back into Starfleet. Okay, was an executive officer of the Discovery. Disobeyed a direct order, suffered the consequences of that action, in which she knew it was coming, and lost her position as XO. But over time, she worked her way back, got herself back into the good graces of not just the crew, but also of Starfleet at the time. And not only was she pretty much accepted back into the fold, she was offered the command of the Discovery. Now, how about that? Now we have another black woman as a captain of a starship. Okay. And of course, Discovery has been very open about its cast of characters that they have in there. And like I said, y'all just do not like the fact that there's no straight cisgender white man running the show. That's not being featured prominently. And that's just leaving y'all twisting in the wind, and I am all for that energy. Because it reveals that y'all have been on the wrong side of history. I mean, you call yourself progressive, you call yourself a fan of Gene Roddenberry and all that stuff. Guys, I mean, this is everything that Roddenberry has dreamed of. Okay, now that Star Trek is on Paramount Plus, if Gene Roddenberry was around today, we actually would have had 3 titty Betazoids on the air. Yes, Roddenberry wanted Betazoid women with 3 tits. Of course, it was shot down back then because you can't exactly show 3 naked tits of a Betazoid on regular TV. But you can do that in Paramount Plus, though, because we had Klingon tits in season 1, and those Klingon tits were pretty cool. So yeah, get triggered, boys. Yep, yeah, yeah, folks, I chose violence tonight because I am sick and tired of these gatekeeping fans that only want a certain entries to stick around. They are engaging in the worst type of cancel culture campaigns that I've ever seen. So yeah, so my message to all you gatekeepers out there: if you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. There's plenty of other things that you can watch and complain about, and maybe fap to. Yeah, that's right, I said it. So yeah, it was just so much that I got off my chest here, and who knows? Hopefully you folks enjoyed it here, because definitely trying to do a little bit more. Bring a lot more people into the fold. But hey, like I said, join in the conversation here. If you're watching on Twitch, go ahead and jump into the chat box here. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, go ahead, type it in there. Let me know that you're here, how you doing, all that good stuff. Because I want to have this conversation with you guys, or whatever that may be on your mind that is stream appropriate. Okay, because I don't want to get myself banned. All right. Because we're still trying to grow here. We're at 102 subscribers on YouTube, and to shout out to everybody on YouTube that's watching there. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Tell your friends, tell your family. We're still growing here, and we'd love for you to be part of the conversation here. All right. So like I said, anything that you folks want to talk about, again, stream appropriate. Okay. Because again, I don't want to get banned and I don't want to get fined. Okay. All right. Now, we do have to take a quick break here. So I'll be right back at these messages here. So, and once again, of course, this stream brought to you by the House of Anaconda and the HOA Fights Network. So enjoy some tunes here. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everybody, to Carbide 6 here on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. Let's go ahead and bring this up here now. Something that was brought to my attention when I was on break here, and hopefully, so it didn't come up. Okay, come on now. Yeah, because I was trying to bring up. Come on. Alright, come on, you miserable. Okay. Yeah, because I was trying to break on my browser screen here. Okay. What I might have to do is the old-fashioned way here. See, I knew I should have tested something. Unless... Alright, bring this bad boy back over here. Let's go. Alright. Okay. Ah! Yeah, what the handball? No, 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 no. What the hell are you doing? Oh, remove! Guess we want to remove that. Jesus, that was scary. No, that's not it either. There we go. Boom, there it is. All right, now, so let's go ahead and bring this up here. Now, this was brought to my attention while I was on break. Now, this is Star Trek Continuum, in which I'm sad to report is Star Trek and Paramount's attempting to get into NFTs. Now, there is one thing that Star Trek gatekeepers and I have in common. We do not want NFTs in Star Trek. Never. Because nobody asked for this whatsoever. Okay. Now let's take a look at the website here. This is Star Trek Continuum at StarTrek.xyz. Okay. Now they have what's called. Let's see here. Okay, because let me give it a rundown of what this is. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Yeah. Now, as you can see here, what Star Trek Continuum does is they say it's on a blockchain, in the metaverse, where you would purchase uniquely generated ships within Star Trek Continuum, so that way you can put your crew on there and do certain missions. Now, as you can see, the Admiral Pack, which comes with the original Constitution class, is $250. Yikes, and of course they're sold out. Now got the Captain Pack, which has this type of ship for $250. Yeah, basically all the ships that you see here are NFTs, in which randomly generated, and for $250 you own it. Now here's the thing that kind of really has me concerned about this even more. And of course, they have the type of ship classes here. Here's the Constitution. Okay. Now, folks, what I'm about to show you is going to be ugly. This is what they call the Constitution refit. Yeah. And of course, this is not the same refitted Constitution class that Kirk took command in 2271. This ain't it. So, I mean, come on. Do these folks at whatever the fuck their name is, do they think that we're stupid? Yeah, this ain't the refit Connie. No, it ain't. Miranda? Oh, Jesus. What the hell is this? This type of Federation ship was introduced prior to 2285. The Miranda class are similar to the Soyuz class ships. They have nacelles below the saucer sections. Okay, but this Miranda has 4 nacelles above the saucer section. What the hell? And this is the Oberth class. The Federation starship is often used for scientific missions. The USS Grissom was an Oberth class. While in orbit of the Genesis planet, Grissom was destroyed by Commander Courage. At the Battle of Wolf 359, an Oberth class starship in the Saratoga's battle group was destroyed by the Borg. Yikes. And here's the Soyuz. Oh my god. The older Starfleet class of predecessor or variation, has not been in service since 2288, a decade after the ship of the class, the USS Bozeman, finally disappeared into a temporal casualty loop. Okay, here's the thing. The Bozeman was not a Soyuz class. It was a Miranda. Yeah, this ain't it. I don't know I don't know what the hell this is, but this definitely ain't a Soyuz. And this definitely ain't the Bozeman. And there's this Class 3 carrier. A Class 3 carrier, or a third class, is the designation used to classify a type of 23rd century pod carrier capable of hauling several metric tons of cargo as well as several hundred passengers. Okay. Now, now this looks kind of similar to the Kobayashi Maru, but no. It's like these guys have gone out of their way to, because the only ship in all of this that is actually kind of sort of correct. No, this ain't. Oh my god. Yeah. Okay. Now here's the thing. With all these, okay, clearly they are not. Well, the only one that is. The only one that's close to its original was the Oberth, because instead of having 4 nacelles, they only had 2. And the pylons were not delta wedge, they were straight out. Okay. Alright, now, here's the other part that is really concerning me, and this is the drop odds. Now, if you get the Admiral Pack, which is a Recur Pass holder exclusive, the Admiral Pack is $250. Okay, drop percentage of a Constitution or Constitution refit, 50-50. Okay, so you're getting either one. Now let's go to the Captain Pack, which again, $250. Constitution refit is at 5.55%. Class 3 carrier, Oberth, Miranda, and Soyuz at 22.23% respectively. Yikes. This is gambling for $250 a pop. Are these guys serious? I mean, the FASA back in the early 80s, they handled the Star Trek license better than these fucks. Jesus, this is insane. See, now, what this is making me do, okay, I'm going to have to bring up Star Trek Online here to give you guys an illustration of how just, of how much better ships are. Okay, alright, so let's fire this bad boy up. Now, here's the thing. Okay, here's something that I can show you guys real fast. Okay. Now, this is with Star Trek Online. Okay. Now they have a Legendary Dominion Captain's Bundle. Okay. Now, already, you can very much see that this is a much better ship than the shit that they got on that Star Trek Continuum site. Okay. All right, Legendary Dominion Captain's Bundle. Soldiers of the Dominion are bred for battle and prepared to face the hardships of a violent galaxy before they have even gifted their first vial of Ketracel White. Yet, even with some focused breeding and training, there remains room for improvement. Coming very soon, captains interested in the Dominion experience will be able to bypass a portion of that further progress by instantly boosting one Jem'Hadar soldier directly to level 65 and gaining special equipment and benefits unique to their experience by way of attaining the Legendary Dominion Captain Bundle. And already you can see that at least the Dominion ships look far better than the schlock that they had in the website. Now this is the Vanguard pilot attack ship. Okay. Alright, now, so let's dive into Star Trek Online here. Yeah, because this is just to illustrate what... yeah, this is just to illustrate how you don't have to spend $250 just to have a nice ship that you can actually use and play around. All right, come on now. All right. All right. So let's dive into Star Trek Online. Boom. Let's kill the music in here. Alright, now we're about to go on one of my main ships, the Regent class USS Dallas. Alright, come on, load, baby. Load. Turn! Uh-oh. Okay. Alright, now just gotta fix one of the options here.
We've received another anonymous message. Greetings.
There we go. Alright, yep. So there's the USS Dallas. Okay. Got my other. Alright, there we go. Now this is the USS Dallas. Now it's a Regent class, so it has a special anniversary platinum shield on it. Yep. You can see the registry number on her. And of course, this is the third ship in Starfleet named Dallas. No, it's second ship actually. And the last ship that was the Dallas was in Excelsior class, I believe. All right, now this ship, okay, though it's much nicer than what they were offering as an NFT. Now this ship, it cost me, let's see, $50 to get in game. Okay, when I first picked it up, it cost me $50. Okay, and that's usable. Now, let me open up here to the other markets here. Now this is Mud's market, where you can take a look and see other items that may be available. but it is at a steep markup. I mean, just stupid steep markup. All right, now with this premium package here, of course, you get to choose three tier 6 ships that sometimes were locked in lock boxes. And you got the Valdor, Miracle Worker, Juggernaut, Undine, Kawavi, Biocruiser, Hazari Destroyer, Crandom Imperium Warship. And all these ships. Okay. Now the price here is 29,500 Zen. Now in US dollars, this is $295. So you get $250 for an NFT versus $295 for 3 tier 6 ships, which are the most powerful ships in Star Trek Online. So $250 for just one ship, but then $295 for 3. Yeah, I mean, come on, that's a no-brainer. Now, on the other side of it, you can get all 8 of these supposed ships. Okay. Well, actually, no, 3 out of the 8 selections here. Okay. Which is, you can choose 3 of the 4 ships. Or, if you're feeling froggy, if you want to get all 8 of these selections here, which are pretty good, then you would have to come up with 60,000 Zen, in which that is $600 US. Okay. Now on the flip side of it, okay, you got 4 ships. If it was apart, 4 ships, and that would have been half the price, $300. And with that type of math, okay, if you were able to buy at least the 4 ships, not the other boons and bonuses, but at least the 4 ships at $300, that would have been a bigger value than buying one $250 NFT of just the ugliest version of the Constitution I've ever seen in my life. All right, now, so some other things that we can take a look here. Now, this is the Benthen Cruiser from Star Trek Voyager. This is 17,000, which is $170 in real life American. And again, $250 for a jank bootleg discount knockoff Constitution class, or $170 for a Benthen Cruiser from Star Trek Voyager. Choice is yours, folks. Yeah, so these NFTs that Paramount is trying to come up with, ain't gonna work. No way. All right. Okay. Now, of course, I know I started late, my friends, and I apologize for that. Got in a little bit later than expected from work, but I worked pretty hard today. But tell you what, because we're gonna go ahead and end it right here, so I can hop into bed, give my back a rest here. And of course, this stream brought to you by my good friends at the House of Anaconda and the HOA Fights Network. Check them out on Twitter at twitter.com/HOA Fights, twitter.com/House of Anaconda, and also at their main website at hoasnake.com. And of course, my executive producer and chief editor is Jessica Rabbit. Thank you so much, my love. My chief broadcast associate here in the state of Florida is Jessica Bug. How you doing? Hope all is well. And also want to thank you, viewers like you, for dropping in here, saying hello, and hearing me out on my rant of these gatekeepers, NFTs, and in my next stream, hopefully, if I'm not too dead tired, I'm trying to space things out, I'm trying to nail down the schedule, definitely looking at Friday, seeing what I can do on Friday night. Open up the lines here, because now, folks, I do have Discord. Okay, so if you want to talk to me on Discord, as long as it's safe for work, then we can definitely do that. We can work something out. Okay, all right. So now until then, okay, this is your Player One, your Wing Commander Carbide 6, reminding you to always do the best you can with what you got. So, friends, I will see you next time, and follow me on Twitter. Now, if you're also watching on YouTube, please do like, subscribe, share this, and donate if you can at the link below. And also, friends, if you're watching on Twitch, please give us a follow and share us, host us if you'd like, rate us. It would really help the stream grow. If you're watching on Facebook, give us a like, share us, follow us, help us out. Okay, so like, share, donate, follow. The donation link should be there below at streamlabs.com/carbide6. Any amount that you're able to donate would be very appreciative and help us grow. Until next time, friends, this is your Wing Commander, your Player One Carbide 6, always reminding you to do the best you can with what you got. We will see you next time. So long, everybody.